hope that stays. Hello, everybody, and it's been a long time. I haven't shot one of these in a long time. Sorry, everybody. Bueller. Sorry. Just had to get that out of the way. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, I haven't really been recording lately. But I decided to start my whole thing with the gear change show. I guess to start it off one time. So hello everybody, welcome back to the radio show. The last time I recorded, drum roll please, was well, the last time I posted the video was 13 days ago, and so, oh, by the way, you guys received my, you guys did the Corvette ZR1 revealed the My Thoughts video. One of you guys gave a thumbs up, and you guys gave it 57 views. That's hilarious. So in 2 weeks, I've done so. Just want to give you guys an update on just video statistics, just how you guys have been responding. You guys have been doing good lately, so I've been doing good lately. So July, we actually had a very good month. So July, we had a good month. 153, better than June. August is starting off. We're 11 days into August, but I'm going to try to pick things up. So yeah, by the way, we're almost at 11,000 views lifetime. So thought I'd start the new the fourth quarter with this. So I want to start talking about one thing that's been on my mind, and I guess we need to have a talk about I think it's time for a chat, a really deep one, a very hard to talk about, or my thoughts on EV prices. Not EV the Pokemon, but EVs, the electric vehicles that we're putting out. So so for the best part of the last, so electric vehicles, the modern era, has been around since 2007 with the Tesla Roadster, the Lotus-based Tesla Roadster that's been copied in Grand Theft Auto as the Voltic, or the Volek, or whatever they want to call it. And that car was almost $100,000, almost 120 by the end of its lifetime, and then they discontinued it. And then eventually they got the S, which was a couple $100,000, and it's come down. Then we got the Model 3, the Model Y, the Model X. They're still stupidly expensive for high-end ones. The lower-end ones, the ones where, like the ones that are coming from China and Taiwan or Japan, or well, not Japan, or some backwater country in Asia. Like they have one called the Funky Cat, in Asia. It's kind of weird. It looks like something I'd swear, you guys just. I'm not gonna put a link to the description. Just look up the word Aura Funky Cat, and you're met with this. What I can only describe as a 1950s blob blob of a car that's gained about 200-300 pounds since it reminds me of the Morris Minors and the Austins from way back when. So now those cars, since they're mass produced, relatively cheap. Well, I don't know if you can afford much of anything in China since it's so expensive. But over the last couple of decades, we moved from passenger cars to sports cars. So now electric sports cars are starting to become the norm, and we've had hypercars, like we've had the Rimac, the Batista, and all these cool bespoke cars that cost a couple $100,000. I'm not talking ones that are mass produced or ones that are going to compete with Ferrari, because the Rimac Rivera and stuff like that. These are hundreds of millions of dollars of cars. They're kind of unobtainium for us. But the cars that we're selling to the public, they're not as cheap as you think. If you want to do a Hyundai or a Lexus or something like that has an engine like that, or a Mustang Mach-E, or an Ioniq 5 or an Ioniq 6 GT. These cars start between 35 and like 40 to 50 to $60,000, and it's like, and then you have the Genesis, and then you have the GV Genesis class of cars, which are like 60, 70, 80,000, 80, 90, maybe $100,000. It's really crazy. And it's also driving up the price of a lot of domestic cars because of how they are. See, the Corvette E-Ray costs about $105,000, can go up to like 114 plus and whatnot, and it has like 655 horsepower. But for stuff that you and I can obtain if we worked hard, we put our money away, we save our pennies, and we live long in life to where we can buy something else other than a grocery getter or a work car or a family car or something like that. It's starting to become into that unwieldy territory, and the vehicle that is going to start the debate today, after all that rambling, is the Dodge Charger with the fakest V8 exhaust ever made. Let's be clear the deck on this one. So Dodge just unveiled the pricing for the 2024 electric only Chargers. They don't have the pricing for the 6-pack Hurricane 6-cylinder cars, which are going to be 4-cylinder and which are going to be 4 and 5, which are going to be 4 and 5 doors. So I think the lower powered one is going to be 4 doors, and I think the 550 horsepower, whatever it's going to be, is going to be 2 doors. But most of the Chargers with the Fratsonic or the fake Faketronic exhaust, shall I call it? I'm just going to call it the Faketronic because it's not done exhaust. It's kind of fake. So not the Fratsonic, but the Faketronic, but the Faketronic exhaust on it, and I've heard it. It really is not going to be able to imitate. You can't really imitate a real V8. You're not going to be able. Sure, they're going to be able to get it to pop and gurgle, but it just doesn't feel, um, like a V8 car running its through an exhaust pipe, through a real exhaust pipe, and getting that gurgle. If you guys have heard a Camaro or Corvette or a real Dodge Challenger, or a real Dodge Charger, you guys will know what I'm talking about, or any old muscle car with a big block or a small block, something like that. So both are going to come in 2 doors. So there's going to be the RT and the Scat Pack. So the RT is going to start with 456 horsepower, and I think it's going to get another 50 more, so it's going to get 497. And then the Scat Pack is going to have and then the Scat Pack's going to have 670 horsepower, but most of that is going to be, but 50 of that's going to be locked away, so it's only going to have 600 and, so it's only going to have about 620 horsepower, 630 horsepower. So the RT, which is the top of the line one for the regular models, that's going to be about $62,000 to about $68,000 rid and week. Because if I can remember correctly, the RT from the last generation would only cost you between $40,000 to $50,000, and you'd be able to get away off the lot with a $50,000 car if you were lucky. And the Scat Pack, shall I say, the Scat Pack with the 455 with 485 horsepower, you could get that off the lot for about $40,000. So for about $38,000, $39,000, $40,000, $45,000 if you auction it right. So that's gonna. So it's a $22,000 hike to $82,000. I think the car is supposed to start at 75, and then all the options are and I think the car gets $6,000 or $7,000 worth of options. So I just wanted to reiterate and tell you, and they're all all-wheel drive or whatnot, whatever they want, whatever the hell Dodge wants to call them, with the fake Tronic exhaust. But I think with a car between $65,000 and $68,000, and the Scat Pack between $75,000 and $82,000, with all those packages on it, I think it's going to be a hard sell. I mean, some people are going to be like, "Wow, I'll be saving the environment and I'll go fast." Good for you. You get 670 horsepower, and you can go 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. But you're not going to be able to afford anything else. But I think electric vehicle pricing has gotten out of hand, and I think some manufacturers are starting to realize that. General Motors is starting to realize that, which is why I think Corvette and Mustang for their GT model to stay gasoline powered and use turbocharging to get their power instead of using electric vehicles. The only problem is with the Z06 and the Z01 is the Z06 costs about $120 to $130, can be $150, $140, $150, and then the ZR1 can be between $180 and $205. So I think with some options, I think the 01 will be hovering anywhere from like the 190,000 to maybe $220,000 range, which is insane. Um, but I think that's because you have a better product, and the reason why the Mustang hasn't gone electric is because, well, not the Mach E. Mach E is a different one because that's an SUV. It's not a car. Um, much like the Ford Capri, I'll get to that next. I'm just not going to talk about the Charger. I'm going to talk about the Ford Capri and how badly that was. But you guys can see how that options list and how all that stuff kind of balloons these prices, and that's the reason why they can sell a Ford Mustang for why a Ford Mustang can go for $40,000, and then a V can go between $50,000 and $60,000, and you'll be able to get 460 horsepower for 460 horsepower for about the same. And then if you have the dark horse, you get about 500, and that car's between 70 and 80. So you can actually get that performance. But it's like anything else. It's just, that's the reason why I think these cars have gone to a I think that's the reason why these cars have gotten so unaffordable. I think that's because that's what the performance cars are, and it kind of stinks that a based Corvette can actually outgun a top spec Dodge Charger. So and why is that the fact? Well, the Corvette, for one, is lighter, and the Charger is heavier, so it doesn't have the horsepower it has. So the 495 horsepower it has can push around a lot less weight. I think the Stingray is around 3,400 pounds, and I think the Charger RT, with its battery packs and its charging cells and all of its gizmos, line lock, drag mode, and all this other crap, is about 5,850 pounds. That's almost 2,000, and that's almost 2,400 pounds. Like 24, yeah, so it's around, I think it's around 48, 34. Let's just say the Corvette's around 3450. So it's around 2,400 pounds. That's a race car. That's a mid 2000s GT race car. That's like taking a mid 2000 GT race car, placing it on top of the Dodge Charger. That's how much weight this thing has to haul around. Now, if it was a lot less, if it had a V8, and it could have, kept its 0 to 60 times. And I think that the Dodge Charger, that the Dodge Challenger, the Red Eye, and all that other stuff, going 0 to 60 in like whatever it was, like 2.4 seconds or whatever it was, I think it was a better call, because chances are you're going to be able to, and the other thing is you're actually going to be able to afford to fix some of their brakes. Good luck on that's the other thing. The maintenance on these electric vehicles is going to be, so you're almost going to have to treat it like a Mercedes or an Audi or something like that. Now, I know everybody's going to say, well, Mike, Dodge has always been upscale because it's a Chrysler brand. But yeah, you gotta remember, you could get a Challenger. Challenger was always meant, the Challenger and the Charger, well, The Challenger was meant to be the more affordable one, and then the Charger was the more upscale one. So, it was meant to be the more upscale one because I remember somebody telling me how the cars like the Plymouth Roadrunner and the Mustang, they were all 2,800 to like 30,000 to like 30, like 3,000, 31, 34, $3,500 range. This was back in like the 60s and 70s, so when the cars were cheaper. But the Dodge Charger was always a $4,000 or $5,000. It was always a rich guy's car. Well, not a rich guy's car. A guy who had a decent job and stuff like that. You know, a guy who owned a company, or a guy who made a lot of money. Guy who had, well, the guy who just saved his pennies and just wanted it. So, and stuff like that. But Dodges have always been expensive for some odd reason. So, but 68, but between 62 grand and 68,000 and 75 to 82,000, kind of a hard sell. And it's a legendary nameplate, so it should always have a V8. It should always stay that way. Ford's doing the same thing with Capri. So as you guys noticed, oh yeah, I got a whole thing on the Capri. So the Capri the Ford Capri was a two-door sports car that debuted in like the late 60s, early 70s. Really cool car, It was a good Group 4 GT car. It was a good Group 4 GT car. So for those of you who don't know, Group 4 used to be, think of Group 4 as GT3. Actually, I shouldn't say GT3. Think of Group 4 as a production-based car. These cars had between 400 and 450 horsepower. So I'm going to say like GT4 probably. And then there was also Group 5, which was Corvette and like Corvette, Camaro, Ferrari, and stuff like that. So it used to be a two-door car. Unfortunately, Ford decided, it'll be a better idea. We'll make it better for everybody. We'll make it a four-door liftback SUV. I was thinking it was going to be a two-door car with a four-cylinder engine, and they'd sell it over here, but unfortunately, that isn't the case. And they're like, it's a coupe-based SUV. Well, Ford, I looked at the photos with my own two eyes. There's four doors. It's a four-door SUV or a four-door coupe, which is terrible. So four-seater coupes used to be, well, there's some four-seater coupes around today, but there's a time when you could actually plop into the backseat of a convertible, a two-door convertible, and actually have decent seating in the back, and you could be on a road trip. I mean, you see it in all the movies, but and stuff like that. But the Ford Capri should really be a two-door car, and I hope Ford realizes that that's a stupid idea, but I understand coupes are not big anymore. Coupes are only for performance and luxury and stuff like that, much like the Dodge Charger and the Mustang, the Camaro, which is now dead, Mercedes-Benz GT AMG, which electrified has about 800 plus horsepower now. But yeah, I just don't get it, and plus it's gonna be mad expensive. Um, it's gonna be mad expensive to buy, so it's probably gonna be $35,000-$40,000. No one's gonna buy it. Much like people are gonna buy the Dodge Charger. It's gonna be in limited numbers. I think people are going to wait till the 6-cylinder comes out next year, and hopefully the prices on the 6-cylinder are a lot lower. My guess is the Dodge Charger 6-cylinders are probably going to be, depending on the tune, I don't know, maybe $36,000, maybe $40,000. And then for the hypo one, maybe 50 to 55, which seems about right for 500 horsepower. It's definitely going to be below the EV1 because it's not as, powerful, and it's not as, actually, what am I saying? It's more powerful than the Scat Pack, but than the RT, but it's going to be a lot less money. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the critics think. But yeah, it's just too much money for a car like that. It's just too much money for a car like that, and it's hilarious that people are like, oh, we gotta go to electric vehicles, we gotta embrace the future and stuff like that. I just want to tell you, everybody, and every one of the tree-hugging liberals out there, just because you have an EV, you're not saving the planet. You're contributing to global warming, because what is happening is those cars, the batteries that go into those cars, cause more damage than any muscle car on the planet. So, and with all the lithium mining, which is dirty and very, very dangerous to the environment, also bad. So yeah, or you environmentalists that think, oh, I'm going to get myself an electric vehicle. I'm better than my neighbor who has a gasoline car. I get 300 miles, but I don't have to stop at the gas tank. Until you have to go back home and charge for 5 hours or something like that, and there's a power outage, you're screwed. So, meanwhile, your gasoline car neighbor can go to the pump, spend money, but actually have like 300-400 miles of range, and can actually get out of its own way, and it doesn't matter if there's a power outage for you to charge it. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's absurd. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. This is just taking a dig at the pricing for EVs. I think some electric vehicles are cool. I think it's gonna be interesting that some cars are electric, so people will have something. People can get something different on the side if they wanted to, and still have a gasoline car to compare it with, and something just fun to drive. But what do I know? But yeah, it's gonna be a while before. I think this is kind of like the first. Dodge is kind of attempting the first electrified muscle car, so this will be hilarious. So it'll be interesting for our future. So, all right, folks, I gotta go to bed. I had a long day at work. Got up for like 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I'm tired. I'm gonna upload this video right now, and I will see you guys in the next one. And I promise, I will see you guys for the next one. Let's start this over, and let's close out this year and get these episodes rolling. I'm gonna try to record, maybe not every day, but we'll make this happen. So this is day 223, and we have 100 and we have over 143 days left, so we can definitely make this possible with whether I have to do shorts or I have to do radios. I'm gonna put out as many of these as I can in the next couple of days, and I'm gonna put as many as these out as I can. I'm gonna do gameplay videos on top of it. I've got I got some news. I'm going to talk about a visual novel that I'm reading on this Wits. But those of you who have any knowledge of Chaos Head, like I said, the anime, you guys will know that the visual novel is superior. But I'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk about how crazy EV pricing is coming out and how this revolution is really taking everybody by storm and by their wallets. But I'll see you guys later, and hope you guys like this one. Give it a like, and you guys view it. But yeah, I'll see you guys later, and peace out. I'm officially back. Don't go away.